Yo, today I'm going to talk about the top 5 photography jobs that keep you burnt out, tired, and exhausted. But I also know a photography job that is boring, but will also get you paid. So the first one is wedding photography. Like wedding photography, whoa, that's a lot right there, just a word, right? So wedding photography, the main thing I don't like about wedding photography first, right? You get paid later on closer to the wedding. You get a deposit, so you're not getting your money up front. And on top of that, like you schedule your life so far out in advance to where like if you like today, if I get a booking, if I was shooting weddings and they book for 2027, like yo, I already take a calendar date off of 2027 because I have to shoot a wedding. That alone is scheduling my life way in advance. And I feel that's so inconvenient because like my life gets different between these months up until that wedding. So on top of that, also it's a lot of stress on a wedding day. So you have to go through a lot of stress on a wedding day dealing with other wedding planners, especially after the time that you're shooting these family portraits after the wedding ceremony. Like it's a lot going on right there. And then after you leave the wedding, like you have a lot of photos to go through. And after you go through the photos, now you have to edit the photos and then send them to the client. So that alone is just exhausted, burnout, and just too much. The second one is event photography. Now, event photography is not as bad as weddings, but these events and birthdays, and one time I shot a family reunion. I don't know what I was thinking when I scheduled a family reunion in June, like probably about when I first started photography. I don't know how long ago it was, but yeah, I shot a family reunion outside. And you know, a family reunion is just a freestyle event. So like, yo, that was a lot going on for me. It was hot and it was midday and I scheduled it for like 5 or 6 hours. I was tripping. So yeah, family reunions, also events like birthday parties and just, you know, events like retirement events. Retirement events pretty smooth, but these birthday parties, baby showers are getting to be too much. Like I've seen so many like baby showers are like 5 or 6 hours now, which is crazy, right? Like, yo, just bring the baby some gifts and send the people and feed them and send the people home, right? You know what I'm saying? Let me get a few snapshots of the family members and that should be it. But no, baby showers is a big event also. So yeah, you have to go through a lot of photos also with the baby shower events and these events. Like it's a lot going on within that process. Third one is shooting kids between the ages of 2 and 4. Like, yo, the photo shoot alone is a lot because like that kid is not going to stay still. Like I used to shoot a lot of kids when I started photography, and those kids do not stay still. And the parents expect for you to let them know what to do with their kid to make them stay still. I cannot fuss at them like they're my kids, so I have to kind of talk to them in a way. I also, what a trick I did when I started like getting better with shooting kids, I tell the parents to bring some snacks, like snacks that don't get the face messy. So like the little gummies, make sure they bring some of them on set. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, because it depends on the child. If the child was just active, it's just like it's too much. And also I let them know to make sure that the child takes a nap before the photo shoot. Because if you bring a child to the photo shoot and he's already tired, like, yo, you're not going to get no good photos because it's nap time. So whenever you're doing a photo shoot with kids, make sure you let the people know, like, yo, let them kids take a nap before they come to the photo shoot. Because if you don't, you're going to have a bunch of photos where the kid is just crying like water. And they expect for you to edit these photos make the kid look normal. Like, yo, that's not how it goes. So yeah, shooting kids is definitely a lot. The fourth one is sports photography. Now, I had liked shooting sports photography, but it's a lot going on with sports photography as far as the editing process. You have to go through so many photos. The main part for me, like you have to go through a lot of shots and you have to have your shots on point with the shutter and everything coming together. You're going to get some good shots here and there because, you know, you're going to have to work for them shots. But yeah, that alone is a lot going on. What I do like with photography that I did a few games that I went to with my daughter, like I also like did a video on my phone, and like the clear quality of the video on my phone, I put it in 4K 30 frames per second, and the video was sharp because I got a clip of a guy that had won the game for his team, and like, yo, I got like 10, 12,000 views on that thing, but it was all because of like the quality, and I captured the moment because as photographers, videographers, we know when the moment is about to happen, so we just go ahead and press record. So sports photography is a lot. I'm not quite sure how the money is with that because like I know schools and colleges, I don't know exactly how that goes. But I'm not specializing in sports photography, but I did it a few times, and I know it's a lot on the editing process. It's fun to be on the sideline and just interact with the game and just be close and just capture those moments. It's a real good feel good moment. Like, but as far as the editing process, that's just too much for me. Like, I don't like all that post editing. Like, ever since I started shooting, what I'm gonna talk to you about later after the next one is like, yo, I ain't worked too hard no more. The fifth one is outdoor portraits. Now, the thing with outdoor portraits with me, like right now it's June, July. I don't do too many outdoor portraits. And I have an off-camera flash. So I'll be taking my big C-stand and also my flash out to the shoot. And also with my gear, I'll be sometimes taking 2 cameras. So like that's a lot going on in that process. And you have to drive to the shoot. And back then when I was shooting photography, I started off doing it like $100 a shoot. So like, shucks, gas about $4 right now. Shit, you gonna have to charge them at least about $600-700 to get you some good money out of that shoot with all the driving back and forth, the gear I'm toting around. So yeah, outdoor portraits is kind of easy, but what I realized, like, if I stop shooting with the off-camera flash, clients still don't care. Like some clients, you're going to have some clients that like the off-camera flash. But if I find an audience that likes the natural light, like you can literally just take your camera and your lens and maybe your flash that you put on the top. But that's it. Like you don't really need to take the off-camera flash. Like it's a lot going on when you take that off-camera flash because you have to get all your equipment, put it together, put the C-stand on your shoulder, walk, and just you want to change different locations for that shoot, and you have to keep checking your equipment, you have to unload the equipment, then you have to go home and import all the photos and then send it to the client, see which one they choose. Yeah, it's a lot going on throughout that process, but the photography that I told you that I was going to let you know what you need to shoot is business owners in your area. The reason why you need to shoot business owners in your area is because they have a budget for you. The top 5 things that I talked to you about just now, those people work a 9 to 5. So they don't have a budget for photography. They have the moment that they want you to capture. But when it comes to the price, they don't have that budget. So you want to work with small business owners in your area because they have a monthly marketing budget, but a lot of photographers and videographers don't focus on that. They focus on the baby showers, the weddings, people that don't have a budget for them. But once you start focusing on the business owners that have a marketing budget, like they have a budget for us yearly. So you want to focus on business owners in your area, whether it be real estate agents, whether it be law firms, whether it be chiropractors, people that have a business because they have the budget for you. It's just the thing that photographers and videographers overlook these people. So when you learn how to market your business right, this is what I learned. When I learned to market my business right, through social media. A lot of business owners don't know how to market their business through social media. So the same blueprint I took to learn marketing my business, I showed it to other business owners in my area. And once I let them know, like, this is the process you can do to start getting clients off of social media, then they want to work with you. You see what I'm saying? But you have to let them know and make it make sense because they have the budget. All they need is the person because that's their territory is to run their business, whatever they specialize in. Like say, for instance, a real estate agent, they specialize in showing people homes and also getting the client like through the process, all that back end stuff that real estate agents do. They don't know nothing about marketing. So they need someone that knows something about marketing so that they can show them how to run their business, because they cannot run a business without clients. So yeah, if you want to learn more about learning how to get clients so that you can teach other business owners in your area how to get clients, comment client below, man. And I'll see you in the next video.